Brothers and sisters, let me thank Dennis and Larry for their great work and for their introduction. Let me get to the point. Middle class in this country is disappearing, and what Verizon is doing to their workers is exactly what has got to be fought if we're going to rebuild the American middle class. It is not acceptable to me that when workers form a union and negotiate for an entire year, they can't yet get a contract. That's not what democracy is supposed to be about. That's what rotten labor law is about, and we're going to change that. When a union sits down with the company, they are going to negotiate a first contract. And they are not going to fire workers like Bianca. We know how hard it is all over this country for workers to form a union. We know that employers fire organizers trying to create a union. They know they stall and stall in terms of a first contract, and that is why we have introduced legislation that says you're going to pay a pretty heavy price when you fire a worker trying to organize a work. You know, all over this country, Verizon is a metaphor. You got corporate America making huge profits, their CEOs getting huge compensation packages, and then with all of their money, what they do is hire lawyers in order to make it harder for workers to survive in this country. Workers need decent pay raises. They need decent health care. They need decent pensions. And it is unacceptable that at every turn, and Verizon is not the only company, what these companies do is use their power to cut wages, to cut health care benefits, to cut pensions. Their greed has no end. And what this campaign for president is about is saying to corporate America, you cannot get it all. That when worker productivity is skyrocketing, you've got to pay your workers decent wages. You got to respect and negotiate with workers for decent contracts. So I think Verizon needs to hear from the American people. We want them to create more broadband. We want them to pay their workers a decent wage. We want them to sit down and negotiate a decent contract. But most significantly, what we are telling Wall Street and what we are telling corporate America is that the working class and the middle class of this country are sick and tired of working longer hours for lower wages and seeing almost all of the new income going to the top 1%. We're going to change that. The American people are sick and tired of living in a country which has more wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. The American people want to know why we are the only major nation in the world that doesn't guarantee health care to all of our people. Why public colleges and universities are not tuition free. So brothers and sisters, we have got a lot of work in front of us. Right now, we have to make sure that Verizon workers get a decent contract. We've got to make sure that Verizon sits down and negotiates a first contract. We have to make sure that Bianca gets rehired.
There you go.
And we have got to build a political movement in this country which says to corporate America, this country and our government belong to all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. Thank you all very much.